2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Gamers Lounge podcast. My name is John Meadows. With me as always is Nathaniel, Eric, and Matt. How's it going, guys?
It's going.
Going good?
Yeah, good. Robert's working late again tonight, so Matt's filling in. Man, Matt's been here more than... He's become a regular
That
now.
other guy.
Yeah.
Who's that other guy anymore? I don't even remember.
I think Robert's missed 2 and Eric missed 1, so, it's been
And I still don't have a name tag.
I know. We've been busy, so it's all right. We'll just call you Robert.
You're just gonna have to hold up a name tag.
I could just maybe just rub something over there and just black it out real quick or something.
Sign behind him.
Yeah, you can just set it on his desk or set it on the couch back there with a little paper sign.
Get like a
Hold
nice
up like
poster back here, like.
Hold up a poster board like you're at the airport picking someone up.
Yeah, it just has his Twitter name on it.
Please follow me. I'm so lonely.
It's pretty funny, actually.
That'd be hilarious. But all right, well, let's start with how we always start with what we've been playing. Golly, I haven't played a ton. I did get. I've been down with my back all week. If anybody listened to the Back to Bits podcast Friday, they know how much I was because I was just kind of froze in this chair. And if the cameras would have been on after I had left, it would have been very hard for me to get out of the chair. I was not. I sat here for about 10 minutes and went, okay, I can get up. I can do it. So literally the only thing I've been playing is I've been playing that Marvel Strike Force game on my phone. It's okay. It's kind of like it's almost like a role-playing game. It's like 5-on-5 turn-based battles with you level your guys, and of course there's those things where you have energy until you run out of energy, and then you either have to wait or have to buy more energy or
You have
something
to pay
like that.
money or wait.
Yeah, but I haven't I haven't spent one dime on the game yet, and I'm think level 40 something, and I'm still unlocking stuff and things. But now they're doing like the Avengers Thanos thing, and you have to do these raids with other people, and it's not like you do it at the same time. You have to wait for people to join your group, and then they may play while you're gone and advance through the thing, and then you advance a little farther. But you get so deep, and it's like, I'm not high enough level, and no high level guys hop in with me. So it's it's interesting. It's a time beat bop bop boop bop bop bop. Peck and push game. It's nothing. It's nothing fancy or anything like that. And it's something that'll probably be done in 6 months to a year anyway. But when you're laying in bed, just
toilet.
Yeah, if you're laying in bed, stretching out, just on the heating pad, trying to relax, it's easy to play. I did get a copy of Wild Guns Reloaded for the Switch Tuesday, and I tell you what, I forgot how hard that game is when you play by yourself. It's a 4-player arcade style game. I remember playing it when I was a kid in the arcades, but there was always 4 of us here, so it was super easy to progress through the game. But man, when you played it by yourself, it's like I'm getting killed. But it's a cool little game. Apparently, it's kind of hard to find physically. A lot of people didn't realize it was coming out because Yakuza and God of War was coming out this week, and
it's not an exclusive to GameStop, is it?
I don't know. I haven't been able to find it anywhere other than GameStop. It never came up on Amazon. Walmart never had it, and my GameStop had 1 copy the day it came out. So, I have no idea. I just picked it up because I was interested in it. It was $30. It was a budget title. So, but I'm always on the lookout for cool physical games to keep. So, but that's really all I've been playing. It's kind of been hard to really get into this thing. I did load a bunch of Xbox One's backwards compatible games on my Xbox games on my Xbox One last night, hoping to sit down and play them.
Nice.
Booted them up
At least
long
you
enough
did
to look at it and say, "Yep, Panzer Dragoon looks pretty."
Yep.
Yep, Elder Scrolls sure does load a lot faster than it used to on the Xbox. You know, I remember playing that game on the original Xbox, and load times sometimes would take like 7 or 8 minutes to load a level.
Elder Scrolls? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
I
big
believe
game.
it.
And now it's like this. But you know what's funny is that game is it's less than 2 gigs on the Xbox One. But like Panzer Dragoon's like 3.5. It's like I don't even understand that. How is that little that old of a game that little? Have all that.
No, which Elder Scrolls is it?
3. It's the third one. It seems like it would be a little bigger than that, but
Is that the Game of the Year edition? Or
It could have a lot
yeah,
of
it's the Game of the Year
different
edition.
You could just have a bunch of like cloned textures and things, so it's compressed on how much
Yeah,
it takes.
it must be. I was really surprised how small it was. I figured it was, going to be huge,
Yeah.
but no, it wasn't. It was like 1.5 gigs. I'm like, holy crap, that's tiny for a game that was that big and vast with all those little expansions and everything like that. So, whatever. But I mean, it does look nice. It's weird to go back and play that. I mean, even on the Xbox One S, some of those games look like really good indie titles now do. I mean, that's what's weird about it. Super clean textures, and you can see a lot of the flaws in things, but Panzer Dragoon Orta looked really good on Xbox One. I'm anxious to see what the Star Wars games look like when they come out Friday. I think they'll be backwards compatible Friday, and it's let's see, Knights 2, Republic Commando, Jedi Starfighter. A bunch of those games. So should be interesting. I'll end up having probably more original Xbox games on my Xbox and Xbox One games at this point. But that's all right. It is what it is.
It's the same thing now.
Yeah, they're
Xbox
all the
One is
same. Yeah, Xbox One, 360. It's all the same because it all plays on the same thing. So Nathaniel, tell us about God of War. You're the only one that's been playing it, so tell us all about God
of War is really, really good. Maybe 4 or 5 hours into it, something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, you're past the
Trucking
tutorials at
along.
least.
Yeah, I'm past kind of the intro and getting to where there's more systems and stuff to interact with,
Yeah.
and kind of the game opens up a little bit. Although I don't think it's never fully going to be like open world, but there's going to be kind of like areas that if you want to go off the beaten path and do this thing over here, you can.
Oh, that
At
was
least that's what it seems like.
yeah.
So I kind of got to the first big one of those and
Cool.
run around a little bit before going with the main missions again.
So-
the main
so
story, whatever you call it.
So what I've heard is people who didn't like the original God of War games really like this one, and it's kind of a different experience. I mean, I like the first one's good enough. I played 1 and 2 and maybe the PSP titles. I don't know if I ever played 3, but
I've played them
Yeah.
all. I mean, and they
I
were
played
okay games.
Bits of them, they were okay, but at least in my head, from what I know of seeing it and looking at story recaps and playing a little bit that I've had in the past, it's a lot more like fast action in the past.
Mhm.
yeah, combo heavy.
Combo
Combo.
heavy and
This is not that, at least not so far. It's a lot sort of slower paced and a lot more of a bit of like crowd control and target priority, where it's like, okay, I got to get that guy first because he's the one who can throw stuff at range for me, but that guy's more powerful, so I just got to keep dodging around him before he like hits me with a giant axe or whatever.
cool.
And it's like, okay, can I get off a throw or do I have to just go in melee? The cool thing that they do is they have, even just this shortly into the game, there's a lot of different enemies, and some of them are resistant to your axe. So you use your fists, and your boy will shoot arrows at things and will build up stun.
Mhm.
And if you stun somebody all the way, you can hit a button and it'll like just insta kill them. So it's kind of like if you can get enough stun built on them, then you can just like clear them out quickly. Or some are just really weak to the axe, so you can like throw them at them a couple times and they'll die. So,
Did
and
you?
then
have
there's
you
a
tried
few
that thing?
bigger enemies, smaller enemies, just a few different things so far. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I picked up my copy, and I was reading about how people enjoyed like you can throw hope it's not a spoiler. You can throw the axe. It'll hit one guy, and when it's coming back to you, you can be standing in front of another enemy,
yeah.
and it'll hit that guy. I'm like,
If Marvel ever wants to do a Thor game, they need to look at this game.
That's what
Yeah.
somebody said. I saw that on Twitter this morning. They were like, "Why hasn't somebody made a Thor game like that has the mechanics of the new God of War game?" So that's funny you
because
said
you
that.
look at what Thor does in the movies, where he's throwing the hammer and then he'll like bring it back and he'll hit things on the way back. That kind of stuff. You can do that in this game. So like if you aim and hit a guy further away from you, and then you maneuver yourself so there's some other guys in the way, and then you hit the button to call it back, it'll go through them on their way back.
That's
And every
cool.
time that like the axe, like you hit somebody and then it causes damage, and when you pull it out, it causes more damage. So it's really fun. Plus they do some stuff with the environment. It's not just combat, so you have things you can throw your axe at, so you can like chop some things down. It has a freeze effect on it, so you can like freeze a gear in place so that this door won't fall down, or different kind of environmental puzzles like that. They're fairly simple so far, but
Cool.
pretty fun to do.
I've heard a lot of good things. Everybody that I've said loves it.
RPG style stuff in there too. So in the menus, you have your axe itself has its main damage. You have like a handle thing that gives it more stats that you can like embed gems into, and then you've got like 2 different abilities slots that you can slot into it that give you different things as you
kind of interesting.
other things to slot in. You've got different armor pieces that you can up your stats for. So all of your like character stats that you would think of for an RPG are controlled by your gear. You're not leveling it up separately like other games do. So each type of thing, like you get this specific type of armor and it ups your strength, or it ups your defense, or it ups this or that stat. There's like maybe 8 of them or so. And then like you have some for your boy. You can upgrade. You get skills that you can unlock. So a few combos and different just extra abilities on top of it. So like this attack will now also do ice damage, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It looks like you can unlock. There's a ton of it that I've done a few, but it's something that you'll do over the course of the game.
Cool.
But yeah, it looks
Yeah.
really cool. It's got like a bestiary in it, which is cool. So every time you find an enemy, it will add it to it. And then as you fight a few more, it'll add like tips to it that you probably have already figured out. Like, hey, the big guy with a heavy attack, maybe you should just dodge that.
Oh.
Hit him with his vulnerable, that kind of stuff. It's not like, oh, suddenly I know how to beat him. Oh, no. But it's got cool like drawings in there, which is really neat. It's kind of like your kid wrote it, so it's all written from his perspective. It's also that way to keep track of like where you're at in the story. That kind of stuff is in your journal, and all sorts of different I forget what they call them, but like kill 15 of this type of enemy or find this many of this type of thing is all under a section of that. It does a really good job of keeping track of all the different little things. You've got a pretty cool looking map in there that gives you a little bit of information, but it's not like you can zoom way in on it and see terrain. It's just kind of like a light overview of where you're going.
Right.
It is I'd put it at, slightly better than Horizon Zero Dawn as far as how it looks graphics wise, but that's probably because it's more linear. They can squeeze a little bit more out of it.
Yeah.
But environment wise, it reminds me a lot of the snowier bits of that game. For the first part anyway, because you're in that kind of an environment. And then there's like another one that you get partway and there's like completely different than that. You're like, ooh. But yeah, there's lots of like magic and stuff in there that you would expect from a God of War game, but it's all Norse flavored this time around, which is really cool.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, cool.
I mean, that's where they're at. And
Yeah.
then, like, there's like the first part of the game is stuff that you've probably like they've shown off at E3, where you're like taking your kid hunting, and it's kind of the tutorial part. And then right after that, when you get back to your house, a thing happens that I was just like, all right, I'm sold. This game is insane. So it's kind of like they took the God of War like overall idea and then slotted it into a different thing that's like sort of part Uncharted and part RPG and a couple of little things to throw in there while still keeping a little bit of kind of the God of War flavor. And he's got to be angry, and he is, but it's kind of restrained anger. And like, oh, I wouldn't want Kratos as my dad. He's like kind of a jerk, but
Well,
maybe
yeah,
that's the arc over the game. By the end, he'll be the best dad ever and get some coffee mugs.
So it's like the Mel Gibson movie, right? Patriot or whatever? Oh.
Oh Lord, there's a movie that I have not thought about in a long time. Is Patriot.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I like that movie.
It's all right.
Yeah,
You know,
but yeah,
once
it's definitely God of War is definitely a game I will pick up. It's just at this point, if I pick it up now, I
It's so
won't play
good.
it. I've got so much
It's
other stuff
so
that
good.
that I'm in the middle of playing or need to play. It's like I'll probably save that one for. I don't know when I'll save it for, but I'll get it
Save
at some point.
for not that long because it's something you should definitely play and not put it off to the point where you're like, well, I can't play it now. Like, no, it's
Oh, I
it's one of
never.
those games where it's like you have to play this game if you're at all interested in it.
I never put off a game that I go. I can't play now. I mean, I'm still playing old stuff from 30 plus years ago. So yeah,
That's the problem. You stop playing that and play stuff that's like 10 years ago, and then you'll like maybe catch up.
well, I really, really, but it's been Yakuza here lately. I got it so early.
Yeah, get rid of that Yakuza junk.
Whatever. That's my game of the year. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely, I do want to play it. I'm not a huge God of War fan, but I do
This
like
is not
hearing.
a God of War game
well, that's
at all.
what I've been. That's what I was going to say. Everybody's been saying that it's not a normal God of War game, so that's
It's
good.
not even
in my
not a
opinion.
normal God of War. It's like if it was not called God of War, you wouldn't think that it's anything
called-
like the old God of War games at all.
Kratos of War. No, I don't
It
know.
just
like,
happens to have Kratos in it, and that's it.
Yeah.
yeah, he's evolved.
And it's still, I guess, technically like an action game because you're fighting enemies and stuff, but it's not the same kind. It's
Yeah.
a completely different type.
Yeah.
And it's really, really fun.
Yeah. I'll play it at some point.
You'll get it.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not one
I'll
of the.
just loan you my copy.
To me, it's not one of the. It's never been. I mean, oh yeah, new God of War game looks awesome. Yeah, but it's. I've never been like super hyped about it. So
Play this game. This is totally not those. This is definitely a new thing. It's
Yeah.
different. It's one that you have to play and be like, oh, cool.
yeah.
Like, I didn't expect that
I bet
from
it looks
it.
pretty good on the PS4 Pro too.
I've seen a lot of
I'm on
screenshots.
the normal
and
one, and it looks great.
That's what I was going to say. I've seen like screenshots of side by side, and I really can't tell that big of a difference in texture quality. But I guess you could choose to do like 60 frames, or you can lock it at this frame or that, or choose this or that over that. And so, I mean,
Yeah, it'll
I think it
probably give
just.
you a little more stability.
Yeah,
or
I'm
something maybe
guessing
that you
that's
wouldn't
the
notice
big
much
thing.
anyway.
Yeah, I don't think there's a huge jump in graphical fidelity on it. Just because, I mean, like just the still side by sides, I have not seen a difference in it. So it's kind of like, But yeah, I mean, eventually at some point I will pick it up and play it. I just at this point I don't know when, and
Yeah.
there's
Well, I'm
about
just saying, it's
7
not an
or.
adventure game. This is a really. This is.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, but it's
This is like a Zelda Breath of the Wild type game where it's like, ooh, okay, that's cool.
yeah. I've
Speaking
got-
of Zelda, the real question is, will it come to Switch? Because everything else has for some reason.
Yeah, I don't think God of War will come to Switch. It was
There's
lucky.
no way that could run on the Switch.
It was lucky that people were getting it to
Regardless.
work with remote play from what I'd seen on their Vita. So,
Well, that's interesting.
but yeah, apparently the controls are a little janky on the remote play
Yeah.
for it. But yeah, I mean,
I'm
I
looking
have
forward to playing more of it.
I have so much other stuff coming out. I think there's 6 or 7 games coming out next month alone that I got to
Just
pick
have
up. So.
somebody hide your Switch for a little bit, and
Nah.
that'll cut out a lot of the stuff that you think you have to play. Like, oh, I
Nah.
can't find my Switch.
It'll give me something to play. It'll give me something to play on the PlayStation eventually. I still got to finish. I've barely scraped the surface of Horizon, so I haven't even.
That's it.
I
We're
haven't
going to
even played
kidnap
that,
all the
so.
things except your PS4 and make you play these awesome games.
Yep. I'll finish Yakuza probably before I'll even get to Horizon at this point. So
There's too many big games coming out at once that are like,
Yeah.
how do you
Yeah.
compete for your time?
Well,
Well,
if
Yakuza is just
40-hour games
Yakuza,
every
so
month.
throw that away.
oh no, I'll throw God of War away before I throw away Yakuza.
Oh!
That's,
No.
yeah.
Tell you, like
That's
Yakuza
fighting
is
words.
just another Yakuza game. God of War is not.
Oh,
that.
no, it's
it's
not.
something that's different.
No, it's not the same Yakuza game. Don't even start.
I'm not saying it's the same. I said it's another one. So you can, if you played a bunch of them, you go, okay, this is kind of what I'm gonna get.
Staying
Nah,
on this conversation.
I'll play. I will, like I said, I will play Yakuza
I
before
just
I
like
play. any
I
God
just
of
like
War.
ribbing about Yakuza.
I know you do.
No.
I
Like
know you
prodding
do.
him, poking him.
Just poke. Where's that poke button on Facebook? Just poke.
But what else? What else have you been playing? Anything else besides God of
Nothing
War?
except this game called Warframe,
Yeah.
which made me think, what if we combined it into God of Warframe, and then that's just crazy.
That's just crazy. Why would you? How could you do that?
Like, okay, next God of War, Kratos goes to space.
What would that be like?
No,
Let's go.
I've-
It could
over-
happen. I could totally see
Yeah.
that happen.
I have like over 80 hours in Warframe now, so I'm still trucking along with it. I got to
Jeez.
play with a friend the other day who reinstalled the game, so I'm like, yay! And I got into our clan dojo that most of the people don't play anymore because they played like a couple years ago. But it's like, hey, I have access to it now, so I have all the blueprints you guys researched. Woohoo! I don't have to do it by myself in my clan of one.
Yeah.
So yeah, just doing a lot more of that. The game's still great. I
That's
keep building stuff and spending credits and getting down to zero and be like, how does this happen? I need more credits.
well, you could buy more credits, I guess, can't you? Can you do that? Can you buy-
No, the credits are just the regular
Oh, okay.
currency you earn from missions and stuff, and then you have platinum, which you can either buy or you can trade things to get plat for.
I got you. Okay. I wasn't sure how that worked, so I just assumed if you ran out of something, you could buy it.
I mean, I guess you could, but not credits themselves because
Yeah.
they're just one
Makes
of the
sense.
currencies.
Cool. So, Matt,
That's
what,
the kind of game it is. It's like if you run out of currency, you gotta go grind to get some more so you can build more things.
of course, you gotta love
But
it.
hey, you're being a space ninja while you're doing it, so that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, space ninjas are cool. You can't complain with space ninjas
Sword.
at all.
Especially if you've got one that has ice powers and you've got a really cool sword that you've powered up that sets things on fire. So it's fire and ice at the same time. So, yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, it makes sense. That would be cool. I could see where that would be a blast.
Hey, there's blast damage in this game.
Oh,
So you have all of your like main single ones, and then if you combine them, they become a different kind of elemental damage. So you've got like radiation and blast, and I forget what all, because like each combo does something different
yeah.
depending on what you slot in.
Cool.
Warframe's deep, y'all.
I
Lots of stuff in
know.
there.
That's why I've not
I-
opened it up.
I've probably touched maybe 20% of it at this point, and I've played a ton of it.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff in this
Well,
game.
they should,
The
what's
more I
the, they should
research
get
it,
your
the more I'm
money's
like,
worth
whoa.
out of it, but it's free, so.
Yeah, my money's worth of $0.
Yeah, really. Those are the
Sometimes it's
best.
the best kind.
Yeah, really. So, Matt, what have you been playing? What have you been up to? Anything exciting?
Not really. Just over. Can you guys not hear me?
No, I can hear
Yeah, I
you,
can hear
but
you.
your video's
Oh.
froze. You're fine.
Yeah,
but we can
no,
hear you.
That doesn't surprise me. Now you just look at this ugly mug, just in a still frame.
Yeah, it's just magic because your mouth isn't moving. So it's like,
Is here, isn't he? No, I'm just a boring human being now. So just D&D and Overwatch again, like always.
well, you know what? The status quo is okay. That's what I always say. The
Yeah.
status quo is okay.
It's-
Did you play
yeah.
something? I mean, look at that.
If I
Yeah,
ever get
I'm
a D&D
still
group
playing
that's
some
regular,
time.
I'll be only playing that pretty much.
Yeah, and now I'm not DMing. I'm currently taking a break from DMing, and my friend is.
Oh,
so
cool.
I'm getting to play.
Oh.
Well, then that means you should have loads of extra time that you didn't have before, right?
Yeah. I've been getting into some TV shows. I just finished up a watch through of Bob's Burgers, which is God's gift to the Saturday evening animated slot Fox.
I love that show. It is so good.
It's I'm happy because the characters haven't flanderized yet. They're 8 seasons strong, and it's still like moderately believable family situations. Like Simpsons. You watch the beginning Simpsons, and you're like, I could reasonably see this insane thing happening to somebody. But then when it's like, oh, Green Day wants to sleep on my couch, that's never going to happen. And I think Bob's Burgers still has that, like, at least base level of authenticity to it, where it's like, oh, I didn't know. I just watched one episode one episode that stands out is where Bob and Linda sign up their youngest daughter for soccer practice and then forget about it.
Yep.
So it's like the last game of the season, and they call them up like, "Hey, we need you to coach," and then they're like, Oh, that's a thing we forgot. Whoops. Yeah, that's like a reasonable thing that happens. But so go out and watch it is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I watch it we watch it every week. My wife doesn't like it as much. She likes some episodes more than others, but she enjoys watching it just to see what the building at the beginning of the episode says or is called, and the rat truck that rolls up, the exterminator truck. Because there's always change. Other than that, that's what she cares about on it.
Yeah. Those opening, like, how are they going to make it fresh and different this time? Trucks are amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, D&D, Overwatch, woo.
Cool.
Started watching.
At least you get to play D&D now instead of just DMing. That's a whole different experience.
I hadn't gotten to play 5th edition yet, so I played a little bit of 4th edition and then started DMing in 5th edition.
Yeah.
So I hadn't actually gotten to like experience any of the mechanics or things like that. So it's nice being on the other side of the table, being like, "Oh, this is why this is important." Okay, that makes sense.
And then you can go, well, I don't, maybe I'll do this a little different the next time because I don't need to do this or that. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, Eric, you've got the big list as always. So
I always have the big list. It's because I always think about how, like, I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, oh yeah, I really need to go back and finish Dishonored 2, Death of the Outsider. And I need to finish Rise of the Tomb Raider. And I look at my shelf, I go, oh look, there's Prey, which I never started, and Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition. Oh wait, and Horizon Zero Dawn. I played like an hour of that. I'm just like you. Too much stuff, not enough time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Too much gaming ADD, huh?
Yeah, that's.
Oh no, decisions. Actually, I think I was like looking through the pile and I was like, well, if I don't play a few of these within the end of the year, I'm gonna probably get rid of them because I'll probably never play them. But at least I want to give everything a try. So even if I don't finish it, dabble in a little bit. Anyway, so I've been playing some more Battlefield 1, just with my friends because it's easy to play. I played some Ghost Recon Wildlands last weekend. I think was when they had the free.
Yeah, they had the free thing.
Now this is interesting, right? So my friends are like, let's buy it. You got the Gamers Club Unlocked membership. You can pick it up from Best Buy friends. Yeah, sure, no problem. I get 3 copies. I haven't put mine in yet. I sent theirs away. I fired up. Ghost Recon's still on my system, and it's still acting as if it's the full game, 100%.
Yeah, I don't think there was something they extended it or something. It's going to the 25th, I think.
Oh, because my buddy's like, I played until the end, and then they're like, burp, I got disconnected.
Yeah, there's something, I don't know, there was something, I saw him tweet something about it the other day. I almost bought it again because I had it and my buddies were playing it, and I never got up with them to play it, but maybe once or twice, and then I kind of like,
the helicopter controls, so I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, and I never, it's kind of wasn't cool to play by yourself because it was so open and things. So I never got up with them to play it, but maybe once or twice, and I ended up trading it. I should have bought it again while it was on sale, but I didn't.
If you want it, I think it's still on sale at Best Buy, so I could still definitely get it for you.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
If you find that,
I owe you enough money as it is. I don't know.
I'm curious. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I was playing it for a little bit today, and I'm like, it's still pretty fun.
Yeah,
works best with your friends.
Yeah, he only picked me up like 6 or 7 retro games the other day. I
have those down here. I figured I'd show them at the end of the show. Let's see. I also played The Blob 2, which I've been meaning to review, and that game is not very good.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
the first one was decent.
That's the first one.
I had read some mixed reviews, and I was like, oh, I'll give it a try. But people mostly complaining about the camera and the controls. Yeah, now I see why.
Yeah.
It's the concept is fun, painting stuff, running around as a blob. It's cute, platformy, but the controls, the camera, I'm like, But plotted through it, played for a couple hours. So
yeah,
I'll go back to it. Let's see. I had purchased Red Dead Revolver on PSN for PS4 and played a little bit of that. Still the same. Man, it's dated, but still fun.
Yeah. I have it on Xbox, so I played on 360.
Mad Max was free for PlayStation Plus. I played a little bit of that, like maybe 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, that game's all right. That's not too bad.
Maybe incredibly nauseous, which is interesting. It only happens occasionally when I game.
That's kind of weird. That one doesn't do it for me. It's not a first-person shooter, but
yeah.
That's one I've had in my Steam library for a long time because I got it from like a bundle somewhere. And
it's not bad. It's entertaining. It definitely has its shortcomings, but it's still kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's an interesting, world and things like that. I fired up the EverDrive this weekend, and the only thing I played, actually I played two things. I played Conker's Bad Fur Day, and I also played a little bit of Carmageddon for the N64. Carmageddon is a horrible game. I mean, I remember back in the day, like I played Carmageddon 2 and on PC, and that's pretty good. This is Carmageddon, technically Carmageddon 2 for N64, but took out all the blood, and it looks like garbage.
Wow.
I mean, it's N64, so you gotta give a little bit of, a little bit of benefit of the doubt, but still, it looks like garbage. It's horrible.
That's
Conker
funny.
still looks good.
Yeah, Conker looks all right. Yeah.
So I was tinkering with the EverDrive, just seeing what I could put the Retro Fighters pad through, just to see how well I stood up to my abuse. A couple weeks ago, I picked up a bunch of stuff at a garage sale, a bunch of Xbox games. I got Def Jam Fight from New York. That was a disc I was a little bit concerned about when I looked down the light. It looked like a little bit of rot in the corner, but I was able to play it from disc, and I ripped it to my Xbox. Works like a dream. That's a modded Xbox. Burnout 3 works fine. I tried to rip it to my modded Xbox. I got an error, so it's like missing a file and it only works like half the time. But still a good game. I prefer Burnout Takedown, but 3 is still pretty good.
Yeah, 3.
And my wife will play it, but man, Def Jam Fight from New York. It's a good game. And I have it on PS2 and Xbox now, and I'm like, dang, it's
still a popular game. A lot of people still want to buy that one.
Too. But other than that, that's about it. I'm just plenty busy, and I'll keep trucking along, keep playing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna get Wild Guns. I think I had put it on hold at my local GameStop, but then until you mentioned it, I forgot.
Yeah, well, definitely go check it because it may be gone.
Looks like all 5 of them in the area have at least 1 or 2 copies in stock. That's what I'd heard. So
that's cool. Nobody around here had it in stock except the store. And like I said, I called them that morning and went, I was over there a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, if I'd have realized it, I just would have.
Can I buy it?
Yeah, and they were like, yeah, we got 1 copy. I'm like, well, I'll be over after a while. Just hang on to it. So they're always cool about holding it for me. So.
That's good.
But,
that's always good.
Really.
Treat your return customers well.
Yeah. Well, right. Honestly, I was just sitting there waiting for Amazon to get it because if I had could have pre-ordered Amazon, it only would have been like $23, So I was trying to save some money, but I didn't realize it was GameStop only, and neither did anybody that worked at GameStop. So there you go. Yeah, none of them.
I wonder if the PS4 version is. I don't think it is.
No, it's not. It's available on Amazon. So.
And it comes with the keychain.
Yeah, so it was weird. So, all right, well, we'll get into news. We got a ton of news to talk about. Some of it we talked about on the Back to Bits podcast Friday, but it's still relevant for those that don't listen to that podcast. Plus, it's new. It's on new systems. So, a couple weeks ago, I guess it was 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago, Sega had their FES Fan Fest 2018 in Japan. So they were tweeting all day that they were going to have 3 or 4 big announcements, and everybody kind of went, whatever. They always, Sega always tweets they're going to have some big announcement. It turns out to be some Sonic game or something, and then nobody, nobody.
Werewolf Fight Club.
Yeah, and nobody
it's
cares
Sonic
about it
Fighters.
and all that. So,
great.
yeah, but they actually, and it was funny was this was actually the 4th news. They saved it for last, but Shenmue 1 and 2, people call it remasters, are announced for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It's going to be PS4 only in Japan, and I think it's only digital in Japan. I don't think it's even getting a physical release in Japan. I don't remember. It's actually not a remaster per se. It is more of just an HD upgrade. It's going to be 16 by 9.
The problem is people have called things remasters that aren't remaster, and this is a remaster, but then what you think remaster is more like the remake that they just did for Shadow of the Colossus, where it's a new thing.
Yeah. And it's going to be $30, right?
Yeah, it's $30 for the set, so you get 1 and 2 for $30 on disc.
Though you can't get both the games for Dreamcast and even the Xbox copy for that price.
No, not anymore. You used to be able to.
DC and the second game for Xbox. No, you're looking at like $50 probably.
Until Shenmue 3 was announced, you could get them pretty cheap. But after Shenmue 3 was announced, the prices, secondary market of those shot up like a top. So
Rabbit.
the only real updates, they're going to update the user interface. You can have a choice between modern or classic controls. You also have Japanese or English audible or audio options, which is something new to the series and never been able to do that before. And you'll also have what they call, I don't think it was in this one, they call it where you can pick the resolution. You can do 16 by 9, you can do 4 by 3, you can do pick the screen size, you can do it widescreen, and it's not like the widescreen where everything's pulled wide and then everything looks kind of chunky and short. It's actually a proper 16 by 9 widescreen of it. But other than that, I mean, the pictures that I've seen, it's not really anything different than the original one was. Maybe a little bit higher resolution, of course, because it's 1080p. But I don't think they've touched much of the graphics or anything like that, which I mean, to me is a good thing. To me it preserves the original, the original game and the feel of it. On the other hand, I think modern younger gamers who didn't experience it that go, hey, I want to see what this Shenmue thing is, and then they buy it, they're going to be like, oh, these graphics are kind of terrible, and it's kind of.
It doesn't matter, even if it was the shiniest looking thing. Going back to play that game, if you like a newer gamer, like young gamer now trying to play that, you would quit so hard because it would just be like, this game is so slow.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the bad thing it's going for. But I think there's enough people out there, nostalgia wise, that remember playing it, they're the ones that are really interested in it anyway. So I don't, it will maybe get a few new people, especially some of the younger people that don't have a copy of it or don't have the means to play it, but like retro games and like, I would like to check it out, especially before the third one comes out. So but it's definitely cool. I'm glad it's $30. At $30 I'll buy it on the Xbox and the PS4 just to see which one looks and runs better, which I probably both run the same, but I want it on both systems just because.
It's not too bad for a pair game.
No, and it's not. And there's there's quite a lot of game in there. If you want to do everything, learn all the moves and unlock all the Saturn games, buy all the Saturn games, unlock all the little things you get in the machines, the little toys, and learn all the moves and everything like that. I mean, you can blow through the game pretty fast, but if you do all the little side stuff, there's a lot of game in there, and it's cool because it was the first of its kind. And it finally people can see it that don't have a Dreamcast.
It's gonna sell really well.
I think so, and I don't think it's gonna.
Sell pretty dang good.
I don't think it's going to be like the number one selling game for like 3 or 4 months. I don't even think it's going to be the number one selling game when it comes out. But I mean, for a Sega game that they've for a Shenmue, it's going to sell well because there's a big following out there of it, and everybody will buy it because they've wanted it forever. Yeah. So everybody.
Well, for you compare it to other like HD ports, I think it'll be pretty high on the list of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Sega also announced the Sega Genesis Mini. This is kind of like the NES Classic or the Super NES Classic. The only problem with it is it's not made in-house by Sega. It's still made by At Games, who makes the crappy emulator systems that you get like at Dollar General, the Genesis and the little handheld things.
The last couple versions of the At Games mini consoles are a little bit better. They did fix the sound issues, but they're still.
Have you seen the reviews of that last one that came out at Christmas? It is horrible. The sound is off. The cartridge slot doesn't work half the time. It's not been good. And everybody was super hyped and thinking that it was going to be in-house done by Sega like Nintendo did theirs, and it was going to be super cool and everything like that. And then like later that week it came out that At Games was having new technology and new this and that, and the emulation. Now it may be better, I don't know. It still looks like it's got an SD slot in the side of it from the pictures that I've seen, so it'll probably run ROMs like all the other ones do, and it probably will not.
Wrong. I was like, yeah, probably.
Well, it'll probably do that too. It'll probably run wrong too, but it won't. I don't know. At first, I was really excited about it because it's like, cool, I can have me a little Sega Genesis next to my little Master, my little NES, and now it's kind of like.
If it's 50 or less, I'll buy one and then review it for the show.
I doubt it will be.
I'll be like, John, it's really hot, and somehow it melted.
$400.
If it's any less than $70, I'll be shocked. And it also is going to depend on the games on it.
Yeah.
But
it'd be cool to get some stuff that we haven't seen before, maybe, instead of just the usual stuff that keep cranking out.
yeah, I don't know. It'll be real interesting to see. But I was kind of disappointed that At Games has having anything to do with it. But at the same time, I'm trying to keep hope alive that maybe it will be good.
I mean, if Sega is licensing out, it might have a chance, because like Google does that with their phones, or did that with their phones leading up to the Pixel, to where they're like, hey, you crappy phone manufacturer,
hey,
this with this specs, and if you do it wrong, we're going to beat you with a stick.
Yeah. Well,
They said, okay.
And that might be this time. This is technically this is for the 30th anniversary of the Mega Drive. So I mean, Sega might actually want somebody to take this seriously. They're not just maybe Sega really doesn't just want to sell it at Walmart at Christmas time as a plug and play system. Maybe they want to make it a collectible thing. I don't know.
They want GameStop to bundle it with another $100 worth of crap you don't want.
Yeah, really.
$50. That's what they really want.
We'll see. I mean, I'm holding out hope, but at the same time, I don't know. And the third announcement was that Sega Ages for the Nintendo Switch were going to be coming out. A lot of people were. What is that? Well, it's pretty much a virtual console for the Switch with Sega games, is what it amounts to.
Okay.
They're only going to be on the eShop. They'll probably eventually bring it out all on a cartridge, maybe in a year or something like that. Yeah, they kind of did this. It's M2 that did the 3DS reimaginings
like the
of
Streets of Rage one, right?
Yeah. They're very much like the classics, but they add some new features to it, like save states or little updated controls or this or that. But they're very true to the original game. But they released them in single batches, and then they brought out a collection maybe a year later on a cartridge. But it wasn't like every game that was available. And there was a couple games that were only available on the cart that weren't available in the store, like the Streets of Rage games and the Shinobi game on the 3DS. You can only get it from the store. You can't get it from the Sega 3D collection.
Yeah, the Sega 3D collection is pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it is really good. They've only announced 5 games so far. Sonic the Hedgehog, Phantasy Star, Alex Kidd, Thunder Force 4, and Gain Ground. And the Gain Ground is actually the arcade version, not the Genesis version. And just to give you... What's that?
It also looks like the Thunder Force 4 will have the Sticks mode, which is what a Thunder Force 3 version from the Saturn had.
Yeah, it's got the ship from the Thunder Force 3, and it'll have online leaderboards. Phantasy Star will have all the features from the PS2 Sega Ages collection version, which means you can change the difficulty speed. You can turn on the old FM sound, so it's got the better sound that the Master System had if you had the FM card installed. You can up the walk speed, which will make the games faster, play faster, because you're not walking from here to there. But yeah, so it's not necessarily the Genesis version of the game. It could be the Saturn version. It could be the arcade version. It could be the Master System. It could be the Genesis. So the rumors are really flying that there's going to be 15 games in this collection. So a lot of people are thinking, Sega kind of hinted that there could be a chance of some Dreamcast and some Saturn games coming to the Switch in this collection. So maybe you get something like a Jet Set Radio or a Jet Grind Radio or something that you haven't seen, Crazy Taxi or something like that. But
if they do Crazy Taxi, it won't be real Crazy Taxi, because they can't do that music.
Yeah, they can't do the music and everything. They don't have the license for all that. Yeah, so that's the bad thing with Crazy Taxi. But it would be cool to see maybe some of these RPGs that were really good on the Saturn, and some of these Saturn games that people can't play that cost $400, $500, $600 because they're super rare, like Panzer Dragoon Saga or something like that, and bring it out on the Switch and the Virtual Console. What I like about this, though, it is different than the ones that are coming out this summer for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Those are just straight Genesis ports, where these are the ones done by M2, and M2 did a fantastic job on them on the 3DS. So I know they'll do a good job on the Switch. Hopefully they'll bring out a big. I'll buy them anyway, but hopefully they'll bring out a collection of them with them on a cart. Would be, at some point would be really cool. But I guess it just depends on what games they bring out. I mean, if they're going to bring out 15 of them, some of them may be big, some of them may be small. So those will start rolling out this summer. So I don't know how they're going to do it. If they're going to drop 5 at a time, or maybe just a couple here and there, or exactly how it's going to go. They haven't really said yet. But yeah, I mean, Sega really has surprised me in the past couple weeks with some announcements. And this next one's even more of a surprise to me. The other day, I don't know, I have a subscription to the Nintendo Insider or whatever it's called, or Nintendo Force magazine. I can't remember what it is now. It's still a print magazine. They have a Patreon, and they send you an actual magazine in the mail. But it's kind of like this.
Imagine those.
Yeah, no, it's like the spiritual successor to the Nintendo Power magazine. Nintendo gave their blessing to print it and everything like that. And this month's issue, they have a interview with Limited Run Games in it, where they had a special announcement of a game coming out to the Switch, and it's Night Trap. It's coming out physically and digitally to the Nintendo Switch, which
Why?
I don't know. It's
one of those games back in the day.
yeah.
Aaron Lincoln said it was never going to come to.
Yeah, I mean, that was the
Come to a
thing.
Nintendo
They said they would never come to a Nintendo system, yet here it is. I will buy it just because I haven't bought Night Trap yet, and I remember playing that game when I was a kid, and it was terrible on the Sega CD.
It is not a good game.
No, it's not. But I really want it. I really want it on the Switch just because I think it would be very entertaining on a little tiny screen to walk around and play Night Trap. It's so weird. But yeah, Limited Run Games will have it physically. I don't know when it will go on sale. They just say later this year. So it'll probably be, I'm guessing they're on 3 now. So Saturday Night RPG is the 4th. So this may be the 5th one that's coming out. I don't know. But yeah, it was an interesting little out of nowhere for no apparent reason whatsoever. Why are they doing
there's
this?
just a real swell of support for people wanting Night Trap on the Switch.
Well, we will find out, because they are going to be taking, they'll be taking pre-orders, at least physically we'll find out, because they'll be taking pre-orders on that, so it will be interesting to see how many they sold, because they sold 10,000 of Thimbleweed Park physically on the Switch.
Yeah, but that's a much more recent game.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. So but I mean that's what I'm saying. You're definitely they're definitely going to be putting their pre-order to the test on the Night Trap one. But you know what? It sold out on the PS4 and collector's edition and the regular edition, and it sold out fast. So maybe there's a market out there for cheesy old FMV.
I mean, cheesy FMV games are fun, but that one is just like, ugh.
Yeah.
There's better choices out there.
There's way better choices, but
there's even new ones, man. Just go on Steam. There's some good cheesy FMV games that have come out in the last couple of years that are good.
I guess it's just the stigma around that game, or the history around that game, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Night Trap is a game that continues to live on just because of reputation and stuff. And yeah.
If you ever wanted to know a lot about that game, like the behind the scenes stuff, there's My Life in Gaming did a making of documentary of the original game. I think it's about an hour and 10 minutes or something. It's really good. They went back and interviewed all the creators and directors and stuff like that, and it's just hilarious. It was just really, really interesting to hear how much they knew that game was going to be terrible, but they went ahead and did it anyway. I mean, it was great. It was really interesting to watch. And it's on YouTube, and you can watch it for free. But if you have about an hour to kill, check it out. It's definitely an interesting piece of video game history from the 90s to learn about. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 will reportedly have a Battle Royale mode and no single-player campaign.
I think that there's no single player campaign is a little more trustworthy. The battle royale
I
part
think
is like,
so,
well,
too.
of course they're trying that because everyone should be, right?
Yeah, and and that even leads into the next story I think below it
Yeah.
that Dice is testing battle royale mode for the new
That
Battlefield
one makes
game.
way more sense that they could make a good battle royale mode because they already have a lot of players
Yeah.
on their servers, whereas Call of Duty is not. They have a lot fewer, so the behind the scenes tech for battle royale, they have a little bit more of a jump, I think, for Call of Duty to
Yeah.
get that working.
Were you going to say something, Matt?
Well, I was gonna say they say no single player campaign specifically,
Mhm.
which means they can still have multiplayer campaign. Because I think like Call of Duty has a lot of weird iconic moments for their story,
Well, that's
but they're
true.
just very short. So it's not like they're just chucking it all together. They're just like, we're only moving multiplayer direction.
Yeah.
So they could still maybe have those, but now when they say shh, no Russian, your body will be there geeking out with you, going, "Oh my god!"
I doubt it.
I doubt it either.
It could happen.
It
They can
could.
spend a whole lot less money. They will lose. Certainly, some players who go in there and do the campaign only. They're out there because it's the only thing I'd ever be
If
interested
I ever
in
did,
a
it
Call
was
of
the
Duty game.
campaign. Yeah.
But the most of their money is from the multiplayer, so it's like, why
Yeah.
not go multiplayer only and see how it works in this one? If there's a big
Uh-oh.
like
It is
you know,
Activision. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Activision. So you
if there's a
never know.
big stink about this one, it's like, oh, it didn't have a campaign, terrible. Then they can always make sure to prioritize it the next time around again.
Yeah. It's bad enough for Call of Duty to try to get me interested in buying a Call of Duty game as it is, and now that they say no single player in this one, I'm definitely less interested in it than I've ever been before. And I was actually interested in playing the single player campaign in World War II. I still will at some point. I'll go to Redbox and rent it, play it for 5 hours, beat it, and then take it back. But I don't know how many, but like you said, Nathaniel, I don't know how many people go out going, yep, I'm buying Call of Duty and I'm only playing the single player campaign and that's it, and pay $60 for that.
Originally, they were doing those for the first couple where it's like, okay, we're doing a cool campaign. And then it's like, we'll continue to do the campaign because we can get really expensive looking shots for our Super Bowl commercials
Yeah, exactly.
that you don't get from like a multiplayer match,
But
Go ahead.
for Call of Duty, I think something too. They already have gun game, right?
Mhm.
Which is you kill somebody, your gun levels up. You kill somebody, your gun levels up.
Yeah.
I think all they need to do is just say 30 players on a small map. Done. Like,
But that's
they
not
just
battle
break that
royale.
up. I
That's
know it's not
bigger
true
gun
battle royale, but one of the, at least in my opinion, one of the biggest weaknesses of battle royale is the RNG, because you could be a saint at that game, and then just because the buddy across the way landed on a sniper rifle and you didn't.
But that's also what
You're
people
gonna
like
die.
about it.
Yeah,
That's
true.
part of what people like about
True.
it. I think this also makes a lot more sense for Battlefield, because in Battlefield 3 they had in one of the DLCs they had what was it called now? But it was like it's not Apocalypse, but like something or other DLC, like the third thing that they did for Battlefield 3, and there was one of the
Yeah, I can't
extra
remember
game
the
modes
name
in
of it.
that called Scavenger. And it was smaller amount of players, but it's like you go and you pick up stuff, and then when it's out, you have to pick up another gun. So they could take that and combine it with a bigger, just make that bigger map and make it more like Battle Royale mode, and they'd already be there. They just have to kind of take some of the stuff they've done before, and there you go.
Yeah.
Whereas Call of Duty is just like, well, I don't know, we'll try copying it first and see if our system works.
Well, and that's what they end up doing a lot most of the time.
Yeah.
It's just kind of copying it and.
And who knows if either one would even be any good? I don't know.
I mean, I don't think a lack of single player mode is going to absolutely destroy the Call of Duty franchise and is only going to sell 10 copies. I mean, it's still going to sell just as many. Because I know most people, I'd say 95% of the people never even touch the single player game anyway. They're not buying it for that. I'm the exact opposite weird person that wants to play a single player game, or at least a co-op single player.
Well, I mean, that's what I was going to say, is they have the multiplayer, PvP stuff, but then they also have the co-op, which is pretty popular, whether it's zombies or, one of the other co-op modes they've had. Those also get a lot of play, so.
Yeah.
I think by now the single player is a little lower on the tier as far as what how many people play it and the importance of it versus how much it actually costs to do that part, because it's the most complicated part of
Right.
it.
Yeah. Well, and like you say, I think Battlefield will have a better chance of pulling it off, I guess.
We'll see. I don't know that any big game like this having a mode in it is going to run bananas like the actual battle royale games that are out
I
there
don't
now
either.
are
And
doing.
that's
Especially without doing something different, and they're already just a shooter, so it'd be very much just like PUBG again. I don't know what kind of a twist they could put on it. It's not like you can suddenly have building like Fortnite, or I don't know, maybe you could have like, instead of supply drops, it's a tank drop. Oh, holy crap, go get that tank. That
Yeah.
could be something. But,
I don't
PUBG
know.
without the bugs. Sold.
I mean, yeah, they could polish it, and hopefully it'd be better than PUBG as far as polish goes. But still, I don't know that they could do it any better. And
I
it's
don't
not
know.
enough
This
to get a bunch of people to flock to it. I don't know how well they're going to do.
this whole battle royale thing now, everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. Oh, we got to do a battle royale game. We got to do a battle. I mean, even
Well, I think you can thank Fortnite for that, because PUBG
Yeah.
was a big thing, but it's like, okay, well, maybe only PUBG can do it. And then Fortnite is also blowing up big to where it's even bigger than PUBG, and it's
Right.
having its time. So everybody wants to be the third one to be really huge.
well, it
I don't know
was
that's going to happen, but I think it's also something that we're just going to be seeing from now on as a mode or a thing that's out there, because it's that popular enough that it's just going to kind of latch on, just kind of like back in the day, like, what's this Doom clone thing?
Yep.
We're just going to see a lot more of this battle royale thing.
Well, it's funny that Cliffy B tweeted the other day about his what was that one game he brought out? You got the physical version of it, didn't you?
Lawbreakers.
Lawbreakers, yeah.
Lawbreakers.
And how it was very underperforming, and this and that and that and this, and they were still going to support it, but not support it as much as they thought they were going to, or something. I don't know.
Then they killed it, I think.
Yeah, then they killed it. Well, then the next day he says, "Here's our new game. It's a battle royale game set in the 1980s."
Lawbreakers 2.
No, it's not Lawbreakers 2. It's called
I forget
shoot,
what
what it's called.
too.
But yeah, it's very, very.
They got super
That's already
lucky.
not a good sign.
Yeah.
They got super lucky, because right as they brought that out, Fortnite servers went down, so people tried it out, and so there actually got enough people playing that to actually
Yeah.
get some attention.
But at the same time, it's just kind of like I was sitting there going,
But it is super, super, super early access. As
Yeah.
in, we rush this out so we can hopefully get some people playing it, versus this is polished, because it's even more, janky than like PUBG is.
yeah.
So just
I mean,
looking at
it came like out of nowhere. We didn't even know it was in.
Like,
Nobody knew it was in
there's a-
development.
yeah,
Nobody
there's
did anything.
early
They just went,
access, and then there's, hey, we've literally 4 months. Here you go.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was crazy. And at the same time, when I read that news, I was doing something. I just kind of went, "Oh, what are you doing?"
Well, I see where they're coming from, because if they wait to polish it more,
Yeah.
then there'll be more people coming out. So they want to jump out, even though it's not polished yet, and they can hopefully just
Yeah.
keep enough people on. And eventually, it's like, oh, hey, this game is actually really good now,
Yeah.
because they've updated it a lot.
Well,
But if they'd waited to do that and then put it out, then they run the risk
Yeah.
of, hey, there's already like 8 more of these out here, and we're not going to be able to compete.
And I think
So-
that's what happened with Lawbreakers. They kind of polished,
Yeah.
and then when it came out, it was like, well, there's already 7 different games like
oh,
this.
hey,
and, yeah,
Overwatch exists and stomps all over everyone else.
yeah, that was really the one that, and, the writing was on the wall there. It was like Blizzard, Overwatch, new IP. Just back away,
Like,
slowly back
You
away.
may want to do a hero shooter, but you can't.
Yeah,
Not when Overwatch is out there.
yeah. I can't remember the name of that game now, but I've seen a few people playing it, and they say it's pretty good. So I mean, even in the early
Yeah.
stage that it's in. So
I watched a stream or two of it. It looks functional. It just kind of looks like, all right, they need to do some polish on the graphics and the polish on some of the stuff to make it look better.
yeah.
It looks like it plays all right, I guess. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
not like I plug it myself, because I don't care.
No, I don't either. I really don't. I mean, there's been a couple times that I'm like, well, I'll download this Fortnite and see what it's. Nah, I don't. That's not
Fortnite
for
would
me.
be the one I'd play, because it's the one that's the most polished and smooth.
Yeah.
I've played the actual like Fortnite regular game, so I like the mechanics there already. So
Yeah.
that'd be the one I'd try if I did any of them.
Sega's Sammy CEO confirms that the Yakuza studio is already working on a brand new IP for consoles. Yakuza 6 just came out. That was the last in the Yakuza series. Nobody was really sure if they were going to, do an offshoot of Yakuza, or if they were going to do an entirely new game, and it looks like they're going to do a whole new IP. So it'll be
Kinda
interesting to see what they come up
Yeah.
with.
I wonder if they'll do another, similar type of, game, just a different, setting and franchise.
I don't
or whatever,
know.
or if it'll be something completely different out of left field.
I tell you what, if they make it as beautiful as Yakuza 6 looks, because some of those cutscene graphics in that game look fantastic. I mean, it looks really good. So I'm excited to see, and who knows if it'd even come to America. That's the thing. If it could be a Japanese exclusive game for PS5. I mean, who knows? I mean, they do not rush things, and they are not expected to rush things. So who knows? It may end up coming out at the end of the PS4, but who knows? And I don't know how long it's been in development. They haven't said. Because Yakuza 6 came out in Japan before it came out here, so they may have been working on it for a while now and just didn't say anything until 6 came out.
And I mean, it's
here.
also could be like they had a small team working on some of the ideas
Could be.
early on, and they just build it as they go, like most studios do.
Firewatch developer Campo Santo is acquired by Valve. This is kind of weird.
It's really weird.
I sent a message to yesterday when I put the notes up, and I sent a message to Matt. I said, "That's it. Half-Life 3. What did I say? Walking Simulator confirmed." So
I mean, sure, I'd do that. It'd be something completely different than anyone expected. Why not?
yeah. Well, I mean,
Half-Life 3 Walking Simulator.
the company only has 12 employees, and they agreed to join Valve. I mean, it's not like we're talking.
I think what this is Valve bought them so that they can say, "Look, we make games that aren't Dota now. Look."
Yeah, I think so.
You just bought somebody, guys. It's fine.
Yeah, it's just
Relax.
it's just so weird. It was kind of like I'm flipping through looking for news. I'm like, what? They Valve bought who? What? But yeah, it was definitely kind of strange. But yeah, the Half-Life Walking Simulator is coming soon. I guarantee it.
Somebody has to make Valve games, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
what I'm interested in is what's
Team
after
Fortress.
this.
yeah, I am too. Yeah,
Because they're finishing their something with the gods, or whatever their name of their next game is. They're
Yeah.
gonna finish that up. What are they gonna do after that? Is what I'm curious about.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, it's kind of strange. It'd be interesting to keep an eye on that just to see what the crap happens with it, if anything. I mean, they may end up just doing the same old thing that they've always done. It's just now Valve will publish it. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, definitely for this first game that they're already halfway through. That's what they're saying they're supposed to be doing. So.
Yeah. And the last news story, I saved it for the last because it's all just take it with a grain of salt. But apparently,
Bag of salt.
yeah, a whole bag of salt. But apparently, posted on Twitter, somebody posted on Twitter the E3 rough list of announcements for Xbox One. Which some of it was kind of surprise. Some of it was, I don't know if it was
really a surprise.
none of it
This
was really
comes off as
surprise.
Super fake to me. In
Yeah.
that someone's like, all right, I'm going to make a list of stuff that we know sort of exists that could be there, and then I'll throw in a couple other things that are sort of related to things I already know about that could be a franchise coming back.
Right.
And we'll try and make a list and get some attention. It didn't seem legit, and even if it is legit, I'm like, there's nothing here that's exciting to me.
Yeah. Forza Horizon 4, fall of 2018. Starfield, I have no idea what that is. Was that something that was previously announced that I didn't know about?
I don't know. I'm not sure what that is.
Apparently, it's an open world sci-fi RPG for 28. It says 2018. I don't know if that's the release date or the demo release date. It doesn't
I
even.
think it's a demo or something from
Yeah.
what I saw.
I-
I don't have it in front of me.
I don't even know if it's
Click it
a exclusive game or if it's just a or whatever. A Scream Ride 2. Apparently, that is a Microsoft game because it says Game Pass. Crackdown 3 will come out in 2018. We'll have a multiplayer beta. Of course, it'll be on Game Pass. The one that I thought was surprising, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it says marketing deal, gameplay demo, and Xbox Game Pass. So is that going to be an Xbox exclusive, or is it a timed
Oh, no.
exclusive?
They've already said it's not.
Okay. That's what I
Shadow
thought.
of the Tomb Raider is coming out for everything at the same time.
Okay,
They're not
that's
doing
what I
the
thought.
weird split up this
Well, and that's why I thought it was weird that they put Game Pass in there because, the only way it would be on Game Pass is if it was an Xbox exclusive game at launch. I mean, unless they would add it later on, but it would be years.
Well, unless that's a deal that like Microsoft is like, hey, we'll give you some money if you put it on our Game Pass.
That
Maybe.
would be interesting, though. I mean, that would be pretty cool. I could get down with that. Sea of Thieves new content for fall. Ashen trailer for 2018. The Last Night. I have no idea what that is, but apparently it's Game Pass 2. Below. I have no idea what that is. Says 2018
Oh yeah, you
season.
do. Below has been around for like 5 or 6 years.
What
We've
is
seen
it?
several times.
Remind
It's a
me.
little
It's
Indie
like a little
game.
dungeon crawler.
Oh, okay. Now I remember. It didn't click a bell. It didn't ring a bell when I read it. And I'm like, I don't know what
Yeah.
that is, and I didn't Google all the games that were listed here. Madden, Minecraft, Battlefield, Metro, Banjo-Kazooie Anniversary. That one never. It'd be cool. Games coming for 2019: Borderlands 3 in spring. Ori and the Will of the Wisps in 2019. Electric.
Yeah, so like these are things that is like, okay, we can kind of assume they would be here. This
Yeah.
timeline, that's, I don't know, it feels like a list somebody put together.
Yeah, something.
Just kind of pretending to try
Yeah.
to be as close as they can, but oh look at my list. It's like,
Something called Electric Madness, a racing game. Have no idea. Splinter Cell reboot. I could see that. I don't know if it'd be 2019 unless it's been in development for longer. It's just kind of strange that.
I mean, the
Sam
time
Fisher.
since the last one
Mhm.
has come out, they could have been working on it, but again, that's like a Ubisoft game.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, they could show it off at an Xbox conference, I guess. But
Anthem, Halo Genesis reboot, or Halo Genesis. I don't know if they would reboot Halo or not, but I mean, I guess anything's possible.
Well, they need to they do need to release a next Halo game, and
Yeah.
I think they did hint at it in some of their stuff, like, "Hey, we have big news for Halo." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, so that could be Cyberpunk 2077. Definitely looking to see some teaser trailers for that. And Jonah Dark, whatever that game is.
Joanna Dark.
Joanna Dark. I don't.
Perfect Dark.
Oh, is that what? Oh, yeah, Perfect Dark. Okay,
her
I
name.
forgot her name was Joanna.
Perfect Dark franchise.
See, that's how far along Perfect Dark's
That
been
was
that I
just
haven't
like-
even thought about it.
They already did a Perfect Dark game that was terrible. I guess they can try and bring it back, but that's a rare property. Well, technically, I guess Xbox owns it.
Well,
now,
technically
but it's
Xbox
they're
owns
already
it.
in Sea of Thieves, so if you want anyone to do it, maybe you'd want Rare to do it, unless there's like, nah, we'll have another studio. I don't know, it's just weird.
I don't know. Yeah, it is weird. And like I said, take it with a grain of salt. It's it's a
I
rumor
definitely
at this
could
point.
see a lot of these showing up at the Xbox press conference. I don't know that there's a few in here. I'm like, well, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. But
I mean-
even if all of these are true, it's not something that sticks out as like, wow, that's super exciting.
Yeah, it's not really. To me, it doesn't seem real super stellar. There's a couple of games though that I have no idea what they are, if they're even real games. So maybe,
Yeah.
like that space shooter thing. It may be the greatest game since sliced bread, and I just don't know anything about it because I don't know it.
Sliced Bread was a great game.
Yeah, it was. It was really a great. I Am Bread. That game was great, wasn't it? I don't know. I didn't play it.
I think if this is a true list and this is the only thing that they would have, and this is a leak, then this is not enough for Microsoft to
Yeah.
gain ground and get attention and be like, oh wow, look what they're doing. They're definitely making a comeback, guys. Look at all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's not enough here.
Well, and I'm sure there'd be some
But-
backwards compatible talk in there
Yeah.
and stuff like that that's not
I
listed.
still think this is not an actual leak. It's a fake.
I think it is
That's
too.
what I think.
It is from Hungary, so probably.
Yeah, I mean, you can take it for what it's worth.
There's
and,
nothing to really support it. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like,
and it's like I said, in the show when I was trying to get it together for the show notes. It's like the tweet that I got the picture from has been deleted. It's gone. So it's like, well, somebody was just pulling a Johnson, and I'm sure, but I don't know. It's always funny to. This far out to start hearing rumors about, well, this and that and that, and
we're not
speculation
that
things.
far
but-
out. We're like
No.
a month and a half away.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, about this far out. I mean, that's what I mean, being
This
this
is
far
about
out.
where real stuff starts coming out. We're like, oh, hey guys, instead of saving it for E3 to surprise you, we're just going to say the name of a game we're going to show at E3. I'm like, well, why didn't you just wait till E3 and tell us, guys?
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's all I have. Has anybody got anything else? Anything exciting going on? Or
I didn't find anything this weekend at Garage Sale. Well, last weekend, 2 weekends in a row, did pretty good.
Yeah.
Last weekend was that sale where the guy had all that. Just like, I think he must have been a collector. This is the.
But he was
you know, he had
selling
all
it
that
for
stuff.
such a dumb price. I mean, it was ridiculous how much he was selling that stuff for.
Storage, he was saying, I'll put something on the side about it, but is it all this Atari stuff and Sega Master System and Intellivision, ColecoVision, miscellaneous Xbox,
Yeah.
miscellaneous 360
And he was
stuff,
selling it for
miscellaneous PS
stupid
stuff.
cheap. I mean, that was the thing. It was like stupid cheap. It wasn't even like, oh, that's a little bit below market value. That's still a pretty good price. I mean, no, it was like, this is so dumb how much he had stuff priced for.
I mean, I picked these up for John.
Yeah, and see that Burning Force game right there? That thing's worth $40. That whole thing was $16.
Yeah, that was the first one that caught my eye.
It's like, I don't even understand. It's
I
like,
looked up, I was like, "Ooh, I've never heard of this game."
Oh,
What's the
I've-
price starting say?
I've played that game and I love it. Think of Space Harrier on a motorcycle
Yeah.
or a speeder bike.
Besides, the only two I had heard of was Clax and
Yeah, Clax is.
But
not
yeah,
that
he was
great.
just selling stuff for like really, really cheap. And granted, it wasn't all in the great shape. I mean, if you wanted to start a ColecoVision or Intellivision collection, that'd be a good place to start.
Yeah, and some of them were in boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean.
And I asked him, he's like, "Oh, I used to have a store, and I was a collector for a while, but now I just want like an all-in-one name cabinet or something like that." So him and I were BSing for a while. And he just let me check stuff.
Yeah. Hey. Well, your buddy, went and picked up all that stuff, and he got it for like $60, and it was like a Master System and a Genesis
Master
and a
System,
ColecoVision it was
First
like,
Genesis.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I don't live out there, or I would have bought it all.
He bought a lot of Genesis sports games.
Yeah, and that's fine. I didn't need the sports
Yeah,
games. I wanted
those-
those though. Those were really cool.
Yeah, but that was interesting. It was a little weird spot in town too. Kind of a bunch of houses next to a little industrial park, so it doesn't get that much traffic. And it was a Saturday morning, and the time I got there, a little bit after 8, right after it started, there was no one else there. I was looking for the usual people I run into, and nobody.
Yeah.
So-
Well, and he probably just had stuff in a storage locker. That's probably why.
He had I don't know if I took a picture. They had a spray painted blue N64 just trying to get me to take, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, I have no use for that.
You could take the shell apart and soak it in turpentine. Maybe the paint
Maybe.
would
Well,
come
actually,
off of it.
it would have taken more than a cleaning because both the power button and the reset were stuck.
Oh, so you can't even use it for like parts.
No, he just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
sprayed it. He didn't take it apart and spray it. He sprayed it together.
Yeah, he's like, and he told me that it's because when he got it, there was all this like nail polish on it.
Yeah.
So then he had spray painted to like when I don't know, he got it from some kid. I don't think there's anything else really.
Who cares
was
if
a
there's
game-
no polish on it, man?
He was a game collector already, and he had his own game store, and he was like, "I'll just spray paint it. No one will know."
Yeah, I don't
Nobody
really
will
know.
notice.
Like, who knows? Maybe they had maybe like a pawn shop or something. It was tough to
Maybe.
tell based on the amount of stuff, but he had a lot of good, interesting things. And who knows?
He had a box of Atari 2600 games. Just a box. It looked like that box was like that big, just full to the brim.
Loose carts, things
Yeah.
like that. I was gonna poke through a little bit. I'm not super knowledgeable about like Atari.
I'm not either, but with that new Hyperkin 77 coming out, I think you're going to see a small spike in Atari prices. I don't think they're going to be like crazy, $10, $20, $30 games. Yeah, it's going to be like $3 or $4 a game, where now they're like 50 cents or a buck.
I did see recently. There's a guy selling a bunch of games, Atari, stuff like that, and I was ignoring the post until I saw someone I know picked up the post and he put it on eBay, and I was looking at the games, and there was Double Dragon for the Atari,
Yeah.
maybe the 2600, but it was that's a pretty spendy game. But I was like, I don't know. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't know Atari stuff, and I don't really have any desire to pick it up, and then I need a system to test. And
Well, and cleaning the games is a whole heck of a crazy way, because screws are under labels, and you just kind of gotta clean it as best you can and hope it works. And then there's the TV. The systems don't hook
Yeah, it's
up to
all-
the TV.
it's all
They're all
it's all
RF, and
RF, yeah.
so it's like, it's too much trouble to mess with. I think anyway. Yeah, but that's cool.
Yeah, but this weekend nothing went out. Didn't see too much. Only went to a couple sales. One guy had a Wii and a box. We wanted 150. It came with a bunch of garbage games. Like, no. He had a PS2. He had a fat PS2 with the official component cables. Handful of not very good games, a couple controllers. He wanted 75 for the PS2, and I know the component cables are good to have and they're worth a little bit.
Yeah.
But he wasn't going to split it up because he had a wireless controller too, and I was like, I want a wireless controller.
Yeah.
He's like,
I have the
no.
components. I actually got them at GameStop for $10. They just happened to be the official ones. They weren't, the generic ones.
Yeah, I'm sure things will pick up as weather gets warmer here. We're going to see more stuff.
Yeah, this weekend there was a lot of yard sales going on, but I just didn't. Well, I didn't have any cash, but I just my back hurt too much to get out and walk around and try to get in and out of a car. It just wasn't worth it. So, but yeah, well, it's cool. I always like to see what you get because a lot of
And
times,
I was like, I saw the Genesis games. I was like, oh, I gotta send John that.
yeah, I was up for breakfast. It was like 10 o'clock, and I'm eating breakfast, and all of a sudden messages start coming in for Eric, and I'm like, what the crap, man? It's like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning out there, and you're already out. I'm like, geez, I'm still here in my pajamas, buttering my toast and having some eggs and bacon.
And even after I looked up like the first one, I was like, I'm gonna ask him anyway because I'm like, I bet he probably doesn't have at least a couple of these, and then he could tell me, just eat them, So.
And anymore, if it's a box Genesis game of even
Sports games?
Nah, not sports games, but if it's anything other than sports games, I'm kind of interested in it because it's like I would like to get all my loose carts out and in boxes, even though I really don't have room for all that crap. But I need to buy another bookshelf. But I mean, I kind of like the box Genesis games.
Yeah, they all look really nice.
Yeah, they all look nice together. And I mean, I've even got like crappy Genesis box games like Pitfall. Everybody likes Pitfall on the Genesis. It's great. But anyway.
That's when a little graphic comes down over your face that says it's not great.
Yeah, it's not great, but I have it complete in box. It's complete in box.
And there it will stay.
Yep, and it'll always stay there. I cleaned it, tried it out, made sure it worked, and then it'll all go back in the box and never be played again. Well, that's cool. So, all right. Anything going on this week on the stream, Matt? You going to be able to stream this week? I know last week you were busy and had...
Yeah, no, this week I should be good. It's don't really have anything crazy going out. Over the next 2 months, I'll slowly be moving my stuff. So one of these days, all of this will be something different. But other than that, yeah, no, no, I should be on. I don't know what I'm going to be streaming. Maybe Overwatch or Kerbal. Maybe I'll get Kingdom Come working again. I probably just need to uninstall and reinstall.
Yeah, that's very weird.
If you stream Kerbal, I'll have to definitely check that out. I think I was interested in that game for a bit.
They just released a expansion for it, and some of I've heard the reviews are solid, but some of the parts kind of are overpowered. So it's not overpowered, but too useful, and so it takes some of the challenge out of it.
I was going to say, makes it too
easy.
That
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. A game where you're trying to put little frog people into space, too easy. I've spent 200 hours in that game, and it's I can maybe dock sometimes.
Yeah.
But at least it's fun to watch, something like that.
Yeah.
Dude, you got it. Oh no.
Well, that's the cool thing about watching his streams because watching him, and everybody thinks, oh my gosh, that'd be so boring to watch somebody build a rocket and do this and that. No, it's really interesting because then when he finally takes off, you're like, is he going to make it? Is he going to? Oh no.
I still remember one time I had a 2-part thing, and I was going to take one part off and land it on the surface of Frog People Moon, and then I was going to take it back off, dock it back, transfer everything over, jettison that part, and then go back, kind of like an Apollo-y kind of thing. And so I do it, and I'm like, okay, so I break off, and it switches over to this part over here. And so this part I forget about, and I go forward a little bit because I'm that's how space works. Because and then I'm okay, I need to slow down in order to land. So without turning or anything, I just put on a little bit of thrust, and I just go shh, and blow up both parts. And then I hit the quick load button and reverted it back to right before I did that. And I'm like, okay, let's not do that this time.
Yeah, it's really interesting to watch because
And I'm not even good at it.
yeah,
That's
I mean,
the best part.